American know-how led the world. We focused on quality and results. But after decades of neglect, we've fallen behind. Too many children are being shuffled through a broken education system, with millions unprepared for college, career, and life, putting their family's future and yours at risk. Visit edin08.com today to find out how you can help.
Sending us out into the cold, cold night.
Yeah.
I've been working since I was 12.
Professionally, I guess it depends on what you mean by professionally, but before working at Mercury Marine now, I was an automotive technician, ATV, snowmobile, you know, that sort of thing. Had a couple different jobs in there, could never quite find the right one. But I did that for about 10 years, and then came to Mercury after that, and I've been there a little over 3 years now.
I've been with a manufacturing company in the marine industry for 8 years now.
Since I was 18.
Okay, what were you doing when you were 18?
I worked in a factory.
Okay. Did you graduate from high school?
No, I did not.
Well, what's the highest grade you completed?
9th grade.
I did not. I was supposed to graduate from high school in 1995. Dropped out before my senior year. Was smarter than school, so ended up going back about a year later and finished up out at Moraine Park at the Tech with the old HSED. So.
Okay.
1977.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't, because I've had a hard life and I would want my kids to come above and beyond me. I would want them to get an education and do the best they could. I would want them to be like me as a person, because I consider myself a very good person. But I would want them to get an education, and I think with the person I am in the education, they could proceed really high.
You have kids, a little boy Jacob, a little girl Jaden, and no, I don't think so. I mean, my job's not bad, but I'd like them to do something better than what I'm doing, you know what I mean? Go beyond what I'm doing.
I do have kids, and career-wise, I would say absolutely not. Education-wise, no. You know, it's a tough question. I like to think that I turned out okay. You know, I know I'm doing well for myself now, but I definitely worked a hell of a lot harder for it than what I would have had to have done if I would have, done things the right way.
Right.
Finished up school like I was supposed to, continue on to even a 2-year tech program or something of that nature. So, yeah, I guess if they could be as fortunate as I do and somehow weasel through a crack in the wall, you know, and do all right for themselves, then yeah, that would be okay with me. But there's easier options out there, and I think I would rather them take that option.
Right. You didn't graduate high school. Did you skip out a lot, or did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And for no real reason, you know. I mean, I can honestly say I wasn't into drugs. You know, the alcohol thing, maybe once a month if your buddy threw a beer party. Yeah, I mean, I was a kid, I'd down some beers, but it wasn't about drugs, alcohol. You know, it was more about feeling like almost like you don't fit in. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I had a certain group of friends that I hung out with, and that was really about it. Education really meant nothing to me, and home life at that time really sucked. You know, there was nothing to brag about there. So, few late nights, you know, sitting up, listening to your typical BS of a broken home, you know, and it just puts you in a mindset where education is the last thing on your mind, and you know, you'd rather go find yourself a job and put a couple bucks in your pocket to get out of the house. So that's pretty much the route that I went.
I wouldn't mind if they followed my footsteps, but I would encourage them to use their brain more and go on to education. In the manufacturing industry, you use your muscles and bones, and you should use your brain instead. But encourage them to go on to higher education.
Okay. So you're saying that manufacturing is not using your brain? Or is it the repetition that's killing you?
Mostly because you're on your feet 8 hours and you're using your hands and your muscles and not your brain.
No, I'm thankful every day that I go into the job that I'm at, but on the other hand, there's more to life out there than assembly. It gets very monotonous doing the same task over and over and over again, especially when you do something and you don't remember doing it.
Well, I regret not finishing school, but hopefully I'll be able to do that eventually.
Regrets as far as current job status? No, I don't really think regrets about the current job status. It's a job. You nailed it on the point when you said the word job. It's not a career. If I'm referring to Mercury, then yeah, I got hired there in between jobs a little over 3 years ago, and they promised us 18 months of employment. At that point, I was ecstatic. I was looking for work. I had a house payment, 2 kids at the time. So you get in that position where you're on your last paycheck and you need to find work, and locally Mercury's a great place to work. You're going to be punch in, do your 8 hours, and go home, and you get compensated by decent benefits and moderate pay. So at the time that was great. So no, I wouldn't say I don't regret being into that position, but yeah, if there were other options, I probably would have taken that route.
Personally, for me, I have no regrets.
Education. But when I was growing up, the education wasn't offered like it is today. There wasn't help out there. Teachers just passed you along, and if you came from a low-income family or whatever, you were looked down on. Teachers didn't take you under their wing like a lot of them do today.
Yeah, but it's not as repetitious as it's like every 5 minutes I have to do the same thing. It's repetitious where I have to get parts and take them to the same place every day, multiple times. And the same people are asking me for the same thing on occasion throughout the day.
I can hit both topics. Career, well, they go hand in hand. Education, I would have followed an education. Instead of being an automotive mechanic, I would have went to school for engineering. Because that's really where my passion is. I don't care to fix things. Any guy that has overalls and some busted up teeth and his dad's old toolbox can probably repair the alternator on his 34 coupe or whatever. But no, I'm more into the tear the thing down, find out why it busted, and repair it from there. That's always what I've been into, how it works, why it works that way. And you can comprehend that sort of thing without an education. I mean, that's true, but you need that education to prove to other people that you're capable of doing the things the right way and not just your opinion. So yeah, education-wise, yeah, my regrets would be not continuing on with obviously first high school and then going on to the college level programming, and career-wise, goes hand in hand. I'm sure if I would have done that, there's a